Hey students, today we are doing 2024 paper of February-March, which is paper 2. So let's start it. We have this paper 2 of February-March. This is the first question. Let's see. Solid X is heated for 600 seconds. The graph shows the heating curve that is obtained. So as you can see, this is the heating curve. The temperature is going upwards. The curve is also going upwards. So it means it's a heating curve and we have a solid X which is being heated. What is the melting point of X? So it means if the solid X is heated, so in the beginning, it is solid. When the temperature is rising, it's in the solid state. And when again the temperature is rising on the other side of the graph, then it is representing a liquid stage. And when the temperature is constant, it means that here some phase is changing. Means the solid is changing into liquid during this time when the temperature is constant. So we can just drag it backwards, extend it backwards, and then we can see that here, we can see that here's a melting point, which is 150, 160, and I think, yes, it's 170. So B is the answer. Second question, which statement about diffusion are correct? Okay, so let's see about diffusion. Aqueous ions cannot diffuse in water. They can diffuse in water, so the statement is correct, means they can diffuse. Diffusion is caused by the random movement of particles. Yes, diffusion is caused by the movement of particles. Particles spread out in all directions in diffusion. This is also correct because when the particles move from lower to higher to lower concentration, then from the higher concentration to lower concentration, they just spread out into the whole area. So they move randomly in all the directions. Diffusion can only take place in solids and liquids. This one is wrong. So the answer here is C. 2 and 3 are correct. Next, we have question number 3 with statement about an atom of fluorine, F19 and 9 is correct. So with statement about this element is correct. Now, this is an atom and all the statements are related to, as you can see, about the subatomic particles, their number of protons, number of electrons, neutrons, and everything. So let's just write the subatomic particles first for this atom of fluorine. So in this fluorine, as you can see, the atomic number is 9, so it makes the proton also 9. The electrons are also 9 because in every neutral atom, the protons and electrons are always equal. And about the number of neutrons, we will subtract this 19 minus 9. It gives us 10. So the neutrons are 10. Option 1 is option A. It contains a total of 28 protons, neutrons, and electrons. So if we add them together, 9 protons, 9 electrons, and 9 neutrons, which makes them 28. So option A is correct. Question number 4. Two of the isotopes of calcium are represented as calcium 4020 and calcium 4420. So we have two isotopes of calcium. Their number of neutrons are different, but protons are the same. Which statement explains why these isotopes of calcium have identical chemical properties? Now, as for the chemical properties, now the chemical properties are what? They are chemical reactions, they are chemical bonding. These are chemical properties, etc. And the chemical properties, they greatly depend upon the number of outer shell electrons. So if the outer shell electrons are the same, if the outer shell electrons are same, so it means that the chemical properties of those atoms will also be the same. Because if we can see, If we see in covalent bonding, the outermost electrons are involved in the sharing. If we see the ionic bonding, then the outer electrons are transferred from one atom to the other. So, in short, in every bonding or in every chemical reaction, the outer electrons are involved. So they have to be same. Now, if its statement explains why isotopes have same chemical properties, obviously because their outermost electrons are same. So the answer B is correct that both isotopes have an electronic configuration of 2882. They both have 2 electrons in their outer shell. That's why their chemical properties are same. Question number 5 is which statement describes a property of potassium iodide? Now, potassium iodide, for this type of question, first we have to see that this compound for which they're asking about, is this compound covalent or ionic? Now, potassium is a metal and iodine is a non-metal. The bond between potassium and iodine is ionic bonding between metal and a non-metal because metals always lose and non-metals always gain. So as they're ionic compounds are sols and they are in the solid form. They are solid form, the force of attraction is very, very strong. Now let's see that which option is correct. It is insoluble in water. This one is not correct because most of the salts are soluble in water. It is a volatile substance. This is also not correct. Volatile means a substance which is easy to evaporate. But ionic compounds are in the solid form. They are not easy to evaporate. So this one is not correct. It has low melting point. This is also not correct because ionic compounds, again, they have a strong force of attraction between the particles. So the melting and boiling points are very high. It conducts electricity when molten. Yes, this one is true because the ionic compounds cannot conduct in the solid form, but they do conduct in the molten form or aqueous form. Now we have question number 6. Methanol CH2O, this is, as you can see, it's a covalent compound because it has all nonmetals involved. Methanol has a boiling point of minus 19 degrees Celsius, very, very low melting point, boiling point. At minus 20 degrees Celsius, the liquid methanol is a non-conductor of electricity. In a sample of methanol, each atom of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen has noble gas configuration. Each atom has achieved this configuration in one of the 3 ways. Which statement describes the bonding between the carbon atom and the oxygen atom in methanol? Now, as we know that carbon and oxygen, both of them are nonmetals. And the bonding which is present between the nonmetals is always covalent. The covalent bonding is formed by the sharing of electrons. So here, they will not gain electron, they will not lose electron, but yes, they will form the bond by sharing electrons. Now, which statement is correct? About carbon and oxygen. The carbon atom and the oxygen atom share 4 electrons. The carbon atom and the oxygen atom share 2 electrons. The carbon is a negative ion and oxygen is a positive ion. The carbon is a positive ion and oxygen is a negative ion. Now, these 2 statements are completely wrong because as they are covalent compounds, they do not form ions. The covalent bonds are formed by the sharing of electrons. Now, we have to see that out of A and B, which one is correct. Now, it's a methanol, which is CH2O. If we draw the structure of CH2O, it is 1 carbon, 2 hydrogens will be attached with it, CH2, and then there is double bond O, CH2O. So this carbon double bond oxygen means carbon is sharing 2 electrons with oxygen, and oxygen is also sharing its 2 electrons with carbon. So this makes the option A correct. The carbon atom and oxygen atom share 4 electrons with each other, 2 of carbon and 2 of oxygen. Next question is, the structures of diamond and graphite are shown. Which statement about diamond and graphite is correct? Now, from these two, this structure is of diamond, and this is the layered structure of graphite. Which statement is correct? Diamond and graphite contain strong covalent bonds between carbon atoms. Carbon and graphite have delocalized electrons. Diamond and graphite have layered structures. Diamond and graphite have low melting points. Now, these three options, the last three options are correct for one of them. Like, as for the delocalized electrons, they are only present in graphite. Layered structure is only of graphite, as you can see here, layered structure. And low melting point is also for graphite. Means for the giant structures as diamond and graphite, both of them are giant structures. So both of them have both of them have high melting points. But if we compare diamond and graphite with each other, then graphite has comparatively low melting point as compared to diamond. Otherwise, both of them have high melting point because they are giant structures. Option A is correct because diamond and graphite both are because they are giant molecular structures, giant covalent structures, so both of them have strong covalent bonds between their carbon atoms. Next question, question number 8. Which row contains a description of metallic bonding and the property that is explained by reference to metallic bonding? Okay, so we have to see first the description of metallic bonding. In metallic bonding, there are metals and metals always lose the electron. So they are arranged regularly after losing the electron like this. And then there are some delocalized electrons which are everywhere in the structure, creating the sea or the cloud of electrons. They just roam randomly into the whole structure. And this creates a force of attraction between the positive and the negative charge. So it's a lattice of positive ions in a sea of delocalized electrons. So the answer will be from C or D. It's a lattice of positive metal ions. Now, which property is explained by this description? A metal will react with as it produces hydrogen, means a chemical property is represented by it, or a piece of a metal can be molded into different shapes. This is a physical property. So the lattice structure and the delocalized electrons, the proper lattice structure, the strong attraction, this explains the property of malleability. The answer here is D, because C is a chemical property, and this is explained. The chemical properties are explained by the outer electrons or the valence electrons which are present in the structure. In any atom, in a metal, how many valence electrons are present? So the metallic bonding or the structure explains the malleability, not the chemical property. Next question, what is the relative molecular mass MR of sulfur dioxide? Now, we'll calculate the molecular mass of sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is SO2. We'll calculate its molecular mass for sulfur. The atomic mass of sulfur is 32 and its number of atoms are 1. It has just one atom. Plus for oxygen, it's 16 into 2. We have here 32 plus 16 into 2 is also 32, which makes the answer 64. So the answer is D. Next, number 10. Magnetite is an ore of iron which contains Fe2 plus, Fe3 plus, and O2 negative only. What is the formula of magnetite? Now, how we can calculate the formula of magnetite? This is magnetite is an ore. Just understand the question. This is an ore which contains two compounds, which contains iron 2 oxide and iron 3 oxide of. So if we make the formula of iron 2, this is with iron 2 oxide and with iron 3 oxide. What will be the formula then? Here, the two ions will balance each other, will cancel each other out, and the formula will be FeO. And here, we have the unbalanced charges, so they both will be written in the crossover, and Fe will get 2, and oxygen will get 3. If we add both of them, the formula will become Fe3O4. So the formula of the magnetite will be Fe3O4. So these are first 10 questions. Now we have question number 11. Concentrated aqueous sodium chloride and dilute sulfuric acid are both electrolyzed using inert electrodes. Which row identifies the product at the cathode in each electrolysis? Now we have to find out the product at the cathode. The cathode is negatively charged. Let's see if we have concentrated sodium chloride and we have dilute sulfuric acid. For concentrated sodium chloride, it's very simple because it's an aqueous solution which gives us the positive H positive ion from water, and from sodium chloride, it gives us Na positive from sodium. Now, when we have two different positive ions, two different cations, then the reactivity between them decides then which one will discharge at cathode. We'll see that which one is less reactive. The one which is less reactive will go to the cathode. Now from H positive and Na positive, H positive is low in reactivity, so it will go to cathode. So from in aqueous sodium chloride, hydrogen will go at the cathode. And if we see dilute sulfuric acid, then in the sulfuric acid, from aqueous solution, because it's a dilute aqueous solution will give H positive, and sulfuric acid is H2SO4. So when it ionizes, it also gives H positive. Hence, there is no competition between them. We are for sure hydrogen H positive will go to the cathode and form hydrogen gas. So here the answer is B. Next question is also about electrolysis. Electrolytes can be broken down by electrolysis. Which rows are correct for each electrolyte? Which row is correct for each electrolyte? Now, we'll see for dilute aqueous potassium chloride. It is dilute aqueous potassium chloride. From water, we have H positive and OH negative. And from potassium chloride, we get K positive and Cl negative. From H positive and K positive from the cations, we'll see that which one is less reactive. And over here, the hydrogen is less reactive, so it will go to cathode. So the reaction at cathode will be this. And as it is a dilute solution, there will be more water present in it. So if there is more water, so obviously hydroxide ions will go to the anode. Because if it is dilute means there is more water, more solute, more water will be present. So OH ions will discharge at anode and they will form oxygen. So statement 1, this one is correct. Now for the next one, concentrated hydrochloric acid. It's concentrated hydrochloric acid. From concentrated solution, from solution we get H positive and OH negative. And from hydrochloric acid, we get H positive and Cl negative. Now, if we have two H positive from acid and from water both, so it means that H positive will go to the cathode and form this equation. And as it's a concentrated solution, so because of the concentrated solution, the Cl negative will discharge at anode and we get chlorine. Because in concentrated, there is more solute. So if there is more solute, it means more hydrochloric acid will be present, not more water, but no more hydrochloric acid will be there. So chlorine will discharge at anode. So 2 is also correct. So it means that option A, 1 and 2 will be correct. Next question, number 13. Which statement about hydrogen-oxygen fuel cells is correct? Hydrogen-oxygen fuel cell, just hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form water. So here, because no toxic gases are produced, so that's why this one is correct, this statement. Other statements are incorrect because this reaction is not endothermic, this reaction is exothermic. The only product is water over here, and hydrogen is extracted from clean dry air. No, hydrogen is extracted from methane gas. Which statement defines the activation energy EA for a reaction? For the activation energy, it is a minimum energy that colliding particles must have to react. This one is correct, because activation energy is a minimum amount of energy which is needed to start a reaction. So to start a reaction means it is a minimum amount of energy which is needed by the particles to collide with each other and to start a reaction. We'll do question number 15 in the next video. So you can go watch the next video to see question number 15. I hope you have understood.